covetous old sinner. The cold within him iced his speeches, nipped his pointed nose. He was like hard stone, from which no steel had strung out generous fire. His stony heart frozen, no signs of thawing, 1 degree at Christmas.
That's the time in which each and every one a season full of joy. Good wine,
Good men both old and new, may wish sincerely Christmas cheer and a happy New Year too.
In December when the world is waiting for the birthday of a boy, that's the time in which each and every one a season full of joy.
In December when the world is waiting for the birthday of a boy, that's the time in which each and every one a season full of joy.
Of this most excellent of theatres, may I present for your entertainment and delight, assisted by my most worthy friends, a dramatized reading of my new short story, a story that has been described as the ghost story to end all ghost stories, namely, A Christmas Carol. register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. How could it be otherwise? Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole friend, and sole mourner. There is no doubt that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood, for nothing wonderful can come of the story I am going to relate. Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood, years afterwards, above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley. The firm was known as Scrooge and Marley. Sometimes people new to the business called Scrooge, and sometimes Marley. But he answered to both names. It was all the same to him, for Scrooge was Scrooge.
So sinner, cold within him, iced his speeches, nipped his pointed nose. He was like hard brimstone, from which some steel had sprung a generous fire. His stony heart frozen, no signs of falling 1 degree at Christmas. And he was tight-fisted, no warmth could warm, no wintry weather chill him. No snow was colder, no wind that blew was bitterer than he. There was no foul tempest, no pelting rain less open to entreaty. The worst of bad weather undoubtedly would seem to be more welcome. No one ever stopped him in the street to say, how are you? And nobody inquired of him the way. No beggar would implore him, the children would ignore him, and even those knew best to give away. And he was tight-fisted, secluded, self-contained, and independent. His choosing, he edged along the crowded paths of life, and he was tight-fisted, and wore no sympathy to keep his distance. He craved no close comforts, and that's what Scrooge had forged in his existence. Scrooge, Scrooge, Scrooge.
Once upon a time, of all days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, foggy, bleak, biting weather. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already. It had not been light all day. The fog came pouring in at every chink and keyhole, and was so dense without that although the street was of the narrowest, the houses opposite were mere phantoms. The door of Scrooge's counting house burst open.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle Ebenezer. God save you.
Humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas? What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then. What right have you to be dismal? What right have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else should I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? What is Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself another year older but not an hour richer?
Uncle.
If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle.
Nephew, you keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it? You don't keep it. You never keep it.
Let me leave it alone then.
Why?
Much good will it do you. Much good has it ever done you.
I dare say there are many things by which I might have derived from which I've not profited. Christmas amongst the best.
There.
I've always thought of Christmas time when it comes around, is a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time.
Handbag.
The only time I know of in the year when men and women seem to open their shut-up hearts freely, and to think of those people below them as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creature bound on a completely different journey. And therefore, although it's never put a scrap of gold or silver into my pocket, I believe it's done me good, and will do me good. And I say God bless it.
Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. And you, sir, you are quite a powerful speaker. And such a speaker as I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come and dine with us tomorrow.
I'll see you in hell first.
Why? Why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love? That's even more ridiculous than Christmas.
Never.
Good afternoon.
No, Uncle. You never came to see me before I married, so why give it as a reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. So why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. We've never quarrelled to my memory, and I've come to you in the spirit of Christmas. And I'll keep that spirit to the last. So, Uncle Ebenezer, I'll wish you a Merry Christmas.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
The season's greetings to you, Bob Cratchit, and to your wife and young ones.
Oh, thank you, sir. And a Merry Christmas to you, sir. A very merry one to you and your good lady, if I may say so, sir.
You may say so, Bob. You may say so 100 times. And God bless you for doing so.
I'm Bedlam, Cratchit. Bedlam.
Why's that, Mr. Scrooge, sir?
I must be. When my clerk, who earns but 15 shillings a week, with a wife and large family to support, talks of a Merry Christmas. Bedlam. That's what we're in. Bedlam.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe.
Do you now?
Now, have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley's been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night.
Well, then we have no doubt that his generosity is well represented by a surviving partner. My credentials, sir.
Generosity?
At this festive time of year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we make provisions for the poor and destitute.
All of whom suffer greatly at the present time.
Many thousands are in want of common necessity.
Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comfort, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Oh, plenty of prisons.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are still, though I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then.
They're both very busy, sir.
I'm very glad to hear it. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
With the knowledge that these institutions scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind to the body, a few of us are endeavouring to raise a fund, to buy the course of food and drink, as well as the means of warmth.
Now we choose this time, because it is a time of all others, when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices.
Yes, so what shall I put you down for, Mr. Scrooge?
Nothing.
Oh, you wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone.
Sir?
Since you asked me what I wish, gentlemen, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough, and those who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
If they would rather die, let them do it, and increase the surplus population. Besides, excuse me, I don't know it.
But you should know it.
It is not my business.
It is all our business, sir.
It is enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere in other people's.
Sir!
Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, gentlemen. You'll be wanting the whole of Christmas Day off tomorrow, I suppose.
It's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. It's not fair. If I was to stop you half a crown for it, you'd think yourself hard done by, I'll be bound. And yet you don't think me hard done by, and I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th day of December. I suppose you must have the whole day. We'll be here all the earlier next morning.
Oh, I promise that, sir. I promise that. Mary! Good night, Mr. Scrooge.
I'm back.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went home to bed. He lived in a gloomy suite of rooms in a decaying building that had once belonged to his deceased partner. No one lived in it but Scrooge, the other rooms being all let out as offices. The fog and frost all hung about the old black gateway of the house as Scrooge inserted his key in the lock. Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door except that it was very large. It is also a fact that Scrooge had as little of what is called fancy about it as any man in the city of London. This being so, let any man explain to me, if he can, how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock of the door, saw in the knocker, without its undergoing any process of change, not a knocker, but Marley's face. Marley's face! It looked at Scrooge as Marley used to look. The eyes were wide open and were perfectly motionless. That and the livid color of the thing made it horrible, but its horror seemed to be in spite of the face and beyond its control, rather than a part of its own expression. As Scrooge looked fixedly at this phenomenon, it was a knocker again. Scrooge was not a man to be easily frightened at. He entered the house, fastened the door, and walked across the hall and up the stairs to his rooms.
partner, Jacob Marley.
Can you sit down?
I can.
Well, do it then.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence of my reality would you have beyond that of your own eyes?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because any little thing upsets them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You might be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of brave about you. You see this toothpick?
I do.
But you're not looking at it.
I see it.
Well, I have but to swallow this and be for the rest of my days persecuted by a legion of goblins, all of my own creation. You are humbug, I tell you. Humbug! No! Mercy, dreadful apparition! Why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do! I must! But why do spirits walk the earth? And why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad amongst his fellow men. If that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turn to happiness. No! I wear the chain I forged in life. My actions made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it of my own free will. And of my own free will I wore it. But its pattern cannot be strange to you. You must know the weight and the length of the chain you have made for yourself. No! It was as heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago, and you have labored on it since. No! Yours is a gigantic chain.
Oh, Jacob, tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. Comfort comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge. It is conveyed by other ministers to other kinds of men. Nor can I tell you what I would. A little more is permitted of me. I cannot rest, I cannot stay, I cannot linger anywhere. For in my life, my spirit never walked beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole. And now, weary journeys lie before me.
You must have been very slow about it, Jacob.
Slow.
7 years dead and traveling all the time.
The whole time. No rest, no peace. Incessant torture and remorse.
You travel fast.
On the wings of the wind.
You must have covered a great quantity of ground in 7 years.
Captive, bound, chained, not to know that no amount of regret can make amends for life's misused opportunities.
But you were always good at business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the ocean of my business. At this time of year I suffer most. Why did I walk through the crowds of my fellow beings with my eyes cast down, and never raise them up to that blessed star which guided the wise men to that poor abode? Were there no poor homes to which its light could have conducted me?
Jacob, to hear you speak so fills me with dismay. To hear you...
Hear me! My time is nearly gone.
No, but do not be hard on me, Jacob. Please do not be hard on me.
How it is that I appear before you, I may not tell. I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and a hope of escaping my fate. A chance and a hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
You were always a good friend to me. I thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
No! Is this the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
Oh, I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls one.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over in one go, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night, at the same hour. The third upon the next night, when the last stroke of midnight has ceased to chime. Now, look to me no more, but for your own sake, remember what has passed between us.
Jacob! Jacob! Don't go! Jacob! Don't go! Not yet! Jacob! I'm back. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the girl's Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
What business has brought you here?
Your welfare.
I am obliged, but I cannot help thinking that a night of unbroken rest would be more conducive to that end.
Your resignation then. Take heed. Rise and walk with me.
But where? Where are you leading me?
Look.
Good heaven! I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
Your lip is trembling. And what is that on your cheek?
It is but a pimple. Pray, lead me where you will.
You recollect the way? This road.
Remember it. I can walk it blindfold. My old school is yonder. Over there. Over there.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years. Let us go
Oh
on.
no! Look! Look! My old school friends on their way home for their holidays.
They have the shadows of things in her being.
Do they see me? Do they see me as I see them?
No. They have no consciousness of you or I.
I can name every one of them. You see the red-haired boy who wishes the others Merry Christmas?
What was Merry Christmas to the young ladies? You're not with them.
No.
The schoolhouse is quite not deserted. A solitary boy neglected by his friends and family remains there.
Yes. Oh, poor boy. I shared each holiday with my books. Ali Baba was my greatest companion.
What would that lonely boy have given to receive the kindness of Christmas?
Anything, anything. I only wish... But it is too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. There was a boy singing a carol at my door yesterday. I wish I had given him something. That is all.
Let us see another Christmas.
It is I. It is I as I was.
Dear brother Ebenezer.
Oh, my own little fan, I can't believe it. Why have you come?
To bring you home, dear brother. To bring you home. Home, home.
Home, little fan?
Yes.
Home for good and all?
Home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home's like heaven. He spoke to me so kindly one night when I was going to bed that I wasn't frightened to ask him just once more if you might come home. And he said, yes, you should. And he sent me in a coach to bring you home.
Oh, Fan, I'm so happy.
You are to be a man, Ebenezer, never to come back here. But first,
We are to be together all the Christmas.
yes, and have the merriest time in all the world.
Oh, Fan, you are quite a woman. Quite a woman.
Woman. And she was. Oh, she was.
Always a delicate creature, whom a birthright might have with her, but she had a heart.
She had. You're right. I will not gainsay it, Spirit. Oh, God forbid.
She died a woman, and had, as I think, children.
One child.
True. Your nephew.
Yes.
You know this place.
You know it? I was apprenticed
dear. There is old Fezziwig. Bless his heart. Fezziwig alive again. You hold there. Ebenezer, Dick. Why, it is my own self, and Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Oh, bless his heart. He was a good friend to me, was Dick. Oh, what a dear, dear fellow he was. So, no more work tonight, lads. It's Christmas Eve. Dick, Ebenezer, Christmas Eve. Right, now clear away, my lads, and let's have off the room here. Billy, old Dick, cheer up, Ebenezer.
Mr. Betty!
Oh, Mrs.
And with your lady, if she misses or miss or makes mistakes, the two and back the other way, and into a promenade and make the moon to an end, and turn to left, and back to the right once more. And when you get off, you turn your off and you dance with the girl next door.
And with your lady, if she misses or miss or makes mistakes, and back the other way, and into a promenade and make the moon join hands and circle and go back to the right once more. And when you get home, you turn around and you dance with the girl next door. And you turn to if she misses or miss or makes, then you turn to and back the other way, and into a promenade and then you all join hands and circle and back to the right once more. And when you get home, you turn around and you dance with the girl next door.
Oh, dear. Oh, here we go, then. What the heck, that plays that music, cheerily dance with everyone's daughter. Then you quench your thirst in man and fiddly with a pot of water. When the horses canter 20 miles, we'll give you plenty of water. But there's only one good drink for me, and no ranks and pot of water. Now the parson's wife, lads, with a little cherries on the water. Well, the cook was mine, and the salt and great, and the axe bigger than a quarter. Now I let my life for me, my smoking trying to do what I ought to. But when I get somewhere down the pot, then I'll bring down the border. Oh,
Mr. Betty!
When the father rumbling out, makes living humbly, dance the prodigy properly, and the baby walk, stepping out and stepping in breath, the needle and backing into the tune of the violin, and the baby fall. Out goes wintry chilliness, welcome seasonal silliness, everyone shows willingness, 20 couples and all, while the whites are singing, move their neighbors favoring, and the hillside wavering, and the baby fall. Oh,
oh, Merry Christmas, Mrs. Fezziwig.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Fezziwig!
Merry Christmas, everybody! Oh, dear.
It was a small matter to make so
Small matter. It was no small matter, I tell you. Old Fezziwig was a wondrous man. A man of...
Well, kindness itself, Ebenezer. Yes, to be sure, they must be the kindest, finest people in the whole world. Old Fezziwig is a great man to give us all such a party. He's the spirit of Christmas. That's what he is. And Mrs. Fezziwig must be Mother Christmas. Yes, indeed. Such food. The mincemeat pies. I've never tasted such pies before. And they're all her own doing. She wouldn't let cook make any of them. Oh, what a grand night. The best I can remember. It's a Christmas to remember, Dick. I'll remember it all my life, Ebenezer. That I will. And I. Sleep well, Ebenezer. And you, Dick. It's Christmas Day already. Merry Christmas, friend. And to you, Ebenezer. A merry, merry Christmas. God bless old Fezziwig. What was that? I said God bless old Fezziwig. You're right, Ebenezer. God bless him.
Old Fezziwig spent a few pounds of your mortal money. 3 or 4 at the most. Is it so much that he deserves all this praise?
It isn't that. It isn't that, Spirit. He has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our work light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. To say that his power lies in words and looks, in
impossible to add and count them up. Well then, the happiness he gives is as great as if it cost a fortune.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing in particular.
Something, I think.
It's just, I should like to say a word or two to my club. Bob Cratchit, that is all.
My time goes short.
You loved me. At least you said you did.
I did. I do.
No.
Belle, please listen to me.
It matters little.
Little.
To you, very little. Another love has displaced me. And if it would give you cheer and comfort in years to come, as I would have tried to do, then I have no cause to grieve.
What are you talking about? What love has displaced you?
A golden one. Money.
Know the ways of the world, Belle. There is nothing so hard as poverty, and nothing to condemn in the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much, Ebenezer. All your other hopes have disappeared into the hope of being rich. I have seen your noble aspirations fall off one by one until your master passion, money, completely engrosses you.
What then? What if I have become so much wiser? What then? I've not changed towards you, have I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor. Poor and content to be so until we were able to improve our life by our own hard work. You are changed, Ebenezer. When we became engaged, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feelings tell you that you have changed. I have not. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is filled with misery now that we are two. I will not say how many times I have thought about this. It is enough to say that I have thought about it, and can now release you.
Have I ever asked for your release?
In words? No, never.
Well, in what then?
One does not need words, Ebenezer. Tell me truly, if our promise had not been between us, would you now seek me out and try to win me?
I
see you wouldn't.
You think not.
I would gladly think otherwise if I could. Heaven knows. It is not a truth I face happily. But I know in my heart that if you were free of our promise, you would not choose a dowerless girl, not you who wastes everything by gain. So, I release you with full heart because of the love I have for the man you once were. And because of what there has been between us, I hope that one day you may have pain of our parting. But I know in a very, very brief time you will dismiss it as an unprofitable dream from which you gladly awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer. May you be happy!
Show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more!
No more. No more. I don't want to see it. Show me no
Well, here we are. Here you are.
Why? That's for me.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Now, which of you two
Oh,
first?
me! Thank you, Father.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Father. Merry Christmas. You know, go and find out what you can give it. Hurry.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours this afternoon.
Oh, who was it?
Guess.
How can I?
He was counting his money.
Ebenezer.
Mr. Scrooge, it was. I passed by his office window. As it wasn't shut up and he had a candle inside, I couldn't help seeing him. His partner lies upon the point of death, and there he sat, alone. Quite alone in all the world, I do believe.
Oh, dearest.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I told you these were shadows of things that have been. They are what they are! Do not let me leave it!
Remove me. I cannot bear it. Leave me. Take me back. Hold me no longer.
You have never seen the likes of me before.
Never.
Have you never walked forth to the younger members of my family? Meaning, for I am very young. My elder brother's born in his later years.
I don't think I have. I'm afraid I have not. You have many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800.
What a large family to support. Spirit, conduct me where you will. Last night I went forth with compulsion and learnt a lesson that is working now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe and hold it fast.
The room vanished instantly, and they stood in the city streets. It was Christmas morning. The weather was severe, but the people made a not unpleasant kind of music by scraping the snow from the pavement in front of their dwellings. The house fronts looked black and the windows blacker, contrasting with the smooth white sheet of snow upon the roofs. The sky was gloomy, and the shortest streets were choked up with a dingy mist, half thawed, half frozen, whose heavier particles descended in a shower of sooty atoms, as if all the chimneys in Great Britain had caught fire and were blazing away to their heart's content. There was nothing very cheerful in the climate or the town, and yet there was an air of cheerfulness abroad, especially with those who would sell their Christmas morning wares. Soon, the steeples called good people to church and chapel. They came, flocking through the streets in their best clothes and with their gayest of faces. At the same time, there emerged from scores of by streets, lanes, and nameless turnings, innumerable poor people carrying their dinners to the bakers' shops where it would be cooked. The streets were full of people, bustling about their business.
Ding dong merry and high, ding bells are bells are ringing. Ding dong merry and high, ding rhythm with angels singing. Glorious, Hosanna in excelsis. Glorious, Hosanna in excelsis.
So you tell me he lives here?
Yes, and he said that Christmas was a humbug. As I live, he believes it too.
More shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical fellow, that's the truth, and not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offences carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
Well, I believe he is very rich. At least Fred always tells me so.
Well, what of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He don't do any good with it. He don't make himself comfortable with it.
He hasn't even the satisfaction of thinking that he's ever going to benefit us with it.
That he hasn't.
I could have no patience with such a man.
Nor I, Miss Tilly.
Oh,
Oh, I do, for I pity him. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself always. He takes it into his head to dislike us and won't come and dine with us. What's the consequence? He don't think he'd lose much of a good dinner this evening.
indeed, I think he will lose a very good dinner.
A very good dinner indeed. And I'm a confident judge, especially when I've eaten it.
And my dessert, Nicky, will be wonderful. It will be truly wonderful.
A truly perfect dessert, Miss Tilly.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it, because I, for one, haven't great faith in these young housekeepers.
What?
What do you say, Topper?
A bachelor is a wretched outcast, who has no such right to express an opinion on such a subject.
Oh, do go on, Fred. He never finishes what he begins to say. He's such a ridiculous fellow.
What was I saying?
Your Uncle Scrooge.
Ah, yes, indeed. Well, I was going to say that the consequences of his taking this light to us, and not making merry with us, is that I think that he loses some pleasant moments, which could do him no harm. I'm sure he loses pleasant companions when he finds in his own thoughts, either in his moldy office or these dusty chambers. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. He may reign at Christmas till he dies, but he can't have taken better of it if he finds me coming to him in good cheer year after year and saying, Uncle Scrooge, a very Merry Christmas. Well, if it only puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk £50, that's something. And I think I shook him yesterday. Really?
Shook old Ebenezer Scrooge. Never.
I tell you I did.
This is a fine brandy, Fred, a fine brandy.
I think we should play a game all the way home to keep us merry.
Well, surely the brandy will do that.
Oh, but a game will keep us all the merrier.
We could play forfeit.
Yes.
That's the blind man's buff. Now that's a fine game.
Oh.
I have a new game.
Oh, what's that, Fred?
I think it's something, and the rest of you must guess what it is. I, answering to your questions, yes or no, as the case may be.
Yes or no?
Well, we'll play one round. We'll soon get the hang of it.
How many questions may we have?
Say 20, but I may give you more.
Oh, we must keep to the rules, Fred. We must.
Have you thought of something?
I have.
Oh, is it a bird?
No.
An animal?
Yes.
A live animal?
Yes, a rather disagreeable
Oh,
one.
you must not help us, Fred. You must not.
Is the animal savage?
Yes.
Does it growl?
Yes.
Grunt?
Yes.
Does it live in London?
Yes.
Is this animal killed in the market?
No.
Oh. Does it live in a menagerie?
No, but...
Oh, no clues, Fred. A pig.
No.
Does this animal walk the street?
Yes.
Is it made a show of?
No.
A horse?
No, no, no.
A cow?
A bull?
A tiger? Or a dog?
An ass?
No.
Is the animal led by anyone?
No one.
Is it a bear?
No.
I know what it is, Fred. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's your Uncle Scrooge.
Yes! Yes, it is!
I want the game.
But when I said, is it a bear, you said no. You should have said yes.
Stop that.
Well, old Scrooge has given us plenty of moments, that I am sure.
And we shall toast his health at dinner this evening. He wouldn't take it from me, but he shall have it nevertheless.
I know. And then again.
Oh, yes, Copper. Are you going to think of something?
I shall.
Is it a person?
Yeah.
Is it...
It was getting dark and snowing pretty heavily, and then, without a word of warning from the ghost, they stood upon a bleak and desert moor.
What place is this, spirit? A place for miners, who labor in the bowels of the earth. But they know me. See?
Come all ye blithe parishioners, come listen here to me. The first and great commandment, love God, so shall it be. The second, namely unto this, is love your fellow man. So eat your fill and drink your cup. Good Christmas and amen. Be welcome any stranger to love your fellow man. So eat your fill and drink your cup. Good Christmas and amen.
Now once there was a miller, and his new fleet he lent, who wouldn't hold no company with any fellow man. But came the spirit Christmas, who dialed his heart of lead. He ate his fill and drank the cup, but loved his fellow man.
Be welcome any stranger to love your fellow man. So eat your fill and drink your cup. Good Christmas and amen.
I knew a good judge warden who counted monsters high. 157 days a week, days all the while. But after 4th in Advent, he joined in Christmas cheer. He kissed his wife too often and wooed him for the year.
Be welcome any stranger to love your fellow man. So eat your fill and drink your cup. Good Christmas and amen.
The devil likes the donkey who will not pass the toast. The devil owns the darling, he's welcome to him most. The devil take the miser, who's no companion here. So eat your fill and drink the cup from now throughout the year. Be welcome any stranger to love your fellow man. So eat your fill and drink your cup. Good Christmas and amen. Good Christmas and amen.
led Scrooge into the suburbs of the town. As they passed by, Christmas dinners cooked merrily in their ovens, and saucepans full of potatoes bubbled up on their fires, knocking loudly on their saucepan lids to be let out and healed. Finally, the ghost stopped at the door of a small dwelling.
Whose dwelling is this, spirit?
Your glass of Cratchit,
What is it you like for food?
the greatest flavor of all, the flavor of Christmas.
Would it aid any dinner this day?
To a poor one most,
Why to a poor one most?
because it needs it most.
But why have you brought me here?
So you see what you must see.
Come along, Aunt Peter. Time to test the potatoes. Belinda, you can polish the cutlery. Come along, both of you, before your father returns and catches us in a state of unreadiness. Here, Peter, a fork to plunge into the potatoes. Check them properly now. We don't want no raw ones. Belinda, you can polish this knife. But don't forget to polish it thoroughly. That shirt of your father's becomes you well, Peter. You are gallantly attired today, that's what you are. Is this shirt, that is, fine linen. Finest in London, I should wonder. If fashionable folks saw you wearing that shirt, they'd believe you to be quite a dandy and no mistake. Belinda, that nice little knife.
We smelt the goose, we smelt the goose.
And the sage and onion. Yes, then you'd better mash up the potatoes, young Peter, or they won't be ready to serve with our goose. Whatever has become of your precious father? And you brought the tiny tin. And our Martha wasn't as late last Christmas Day by half an hour.
I'm here, Mother, I'm here. Oh, Peter. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all.
Bless your heart alive, dear. How late you are.
Oh, we had a deal of work to finish up last night, and then we had to clear away this morning.
Never mind, you're here now, that's all that matters. Now you sit yourself down before the fire. There you are, and warm those poor cold hands of yours. Peter, how you doing with those?
Father, it's Father, he's here,
Oh,
he's here.
oh, quick, Martha, hide and surprise
Oh,
him.
no.
Where are you all? Where are you, Mrs. Cratchit?
In here, in the parlour, Mr. Cratchit.
Well, where's our Martha then?
She's not coming.
Not coming? Not coming on Christmas Day?
No.
How's that then, Mrs. Cratchit?
Well, she's not coming because...
Because I am already here.
Martha!
Oh, Merry Christmas, Father, and Merry Christmas, little Tim.
You look wonderful, Martha. You look a real lady, doesn't she, Mother?
She certainly does.
Oh, and you all look just the same. Oh, it's so good to be home and to think. Tomorrow morning I can sleep until I wake.
That you can. A good rest will do you no harm.
Is dinner ready, Mother?
That's it. Belinda, you may serve the goose. Now all of you can help. Quickly. Tim, come and hear the pudding singing in the copper.
Singing? Is it really singing?
But you can hear for yourself. You go and have a listen. I don't know where you and Tiny Tim have been hiding yourselves all this time, Robert Cratchit, that I don't.
Oh, we stopped to watch the snow fight between the Gilder princesses. Oh, it was a grand sight. I wish I'd been a boy again, I can tell you.
Oh, Father.
And I call it cruel, keeping us all awaiting for dinner. Young Peter's been mashing those potatoes for the last quarter of an hour past. How did Tiny Tim behave in church?
Oh, as good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself and thinks the strangest things you ever heard. He told me coming home, the young people saw him in church because he was a cripple. And it might be pleasant for them to remember upon Christmas Day who it was that made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Oh, we sit at the dinner all by ourselves, Father, all by ourselves.
What a surprise! The hot punch.
It's in the kitchen.
I'll get it.
Right.
What a time! What happiness! I cannot remember when...
There be not a man more appreciated in all of London, even Peter Paul. But think of the sacrifice that went in to make up this banquet, Ebenezer Scrooge.
I do not understand you, Spirit.
How many hours of needlework went in to make the sauce? What meals did the mother and father have to surrender to provide the potatoes and the gravy? The goose, heavy and full of stuff. It will soon be eaten. But the coins that purchased it could have bought your cloth of coat to save you from the biting winds of winter. The pudding cost the mother's penny. tree in the hall and the gifts, they're the new shoes the mother so desperately needs. Yet this kind, happy family would not have it any other way. You see, this is their Christmas. Perhaps their last together.
You mean, Spirit, why their last together? Surely this family would not be separated at Christmas time.
No. But such a separation would not be of their own choosing.
Christmas punch! Here we are, my dears. Hot punch to make it an even merrier Christmas than it be.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see an empty chair at the table, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No, kind Spirit, I'll say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him. What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it, and decrease the surplus population.
My sentiments!
Your words and your sentiments.
But I didn't...
Man, if man you be in heart, never say such wicked words until you have discovered what the surplus is and where. Will you decide what men shall live, what men shall die? Maybe that's in the sight of heaven. You are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child.
A toast. A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
Merry Christmas! God bless us, everyone!
To Mr. Scrooge, I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of this feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, it's Christmas Day.
And it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, when one drinks the health of such an odious, hard, stingy, unfeeling man as Ebenezer Scrooge.
My dear.
You know he is, Robert. Nobody can know it better than you do.
Christmas Day.
All right. I'll drink his health for your sake, and the day, but not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
Mr. Scrooge!
Our spirit's life short.
My life on this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. My time has almost come. But one thing more.
What is that? What, these children? Are they yours, Spirit?
They are mad. The boy is called ignorance. The girl is not. Beware them both and all of their degree. But most of all, beware the boy. For on his brow I see that written, which is doom.
Either a refuge or a source?
Oh, there are prisons! Oh, there are workhouses!
Cinnabar! Cinnabar! I cannot bear it!
No prisons! No workhouses!
Ghost of Christmas yet to come. You're about to show me shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit? Phantom of the future, fear you more than any spectre I have seen. And as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, I am prepared to bear your company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on. The night is waning fast, and it is precious time to me, I know. Lead on, Spirit.
Scrooge followed the phantom, which bore him up, he thought, and carried him along. The ghost conducted him through streets familiar to his feet, and as they went along, Scrooge looked here and there, almost expecting to see himself, but nowhere was he to be seen. Then they entered poor Bob Cratchit's house, the dwelling they had visited before, and found the mother seated by the fire.
And he took a child and set him in the midst of them.
Colour hurts my eyes. It's better. Candlelight makes them weak. But I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father. Not for all the world. It must be near his time.
Oh, past it rather. But I think he has walked a little slower than he used these last few days.
I have known him walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulders. Very fast indeed.
So have I.
But he was so light to carry. And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all.
Mother!
Oh, it's father. He's at the door.
His tea's on the hob.
I'll get it for him.
Sunday? You went today then, Robert?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. Would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him we'd walk there on a Sunday. My little child. My little child. I saw Mr. Scrooge's nephew, young Mr. Fred, today. He was so kind, so extraordinarily kind.
How was that then, Robert?
He stopped me and said I looked a little down. He's the kindest spoken gentleman you ever heard, so I told him. I'm heartily sorry for your loss, Mr. Cratchit, he said. I'm heartily sorry for your good wife. By the by, how he knew that, I don't know.
Knew what, dear?
Why, that you were a good wife.
Oh, everybody knows that.
Well, very well observed, my dear. I hope they do. I'm heartily sorry for your good wife, he said. And if I can be of any service to him, giving me his card, this is where I live. Pray come and call on us. Now, it wasn't for the sake of anything he might be able to do for us, so much as for his kind manner that made this quite delightful. It almost seemed as if he'd known our Tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he's a good soul, Robert.
You'd be sure of it, my dear, if you saw and spoke to him. But I wouldn't be at all surprised, mark what I say, if you could help get our Peter a better situation.
Then our Peter will be keeping company with someone and setting up for himself.
There's time enough for that, my dear. But I know that, however and whenever we part, will none of us forget our Tiny Tim, shall we? Or this first parting that was amongst us.
Never, father.
And I know that when we recollect how mild and how patient he was, even though he was only a little child, we shall not quarrel easily amongst us, or forget poor Tim in doing it.
Never, father. Never.
Then I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Once again, Scrooge found himself in the city, for the city rather seemed to spring up about them and encompass them of its own act. But there they were once again, in the heart of it. The spirits stopped as two persons appeared out of the night. Observing that the spirit's hand was pointed to them, Scrooge advanced to listen to their talk.
No, I don't know much about it neither way. I only know old Scratch is dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe. I went in as always this morning. It was as cold as marble. Mind, he's been gasping as if it were his last this past week.
I thought he'd never died. What was the matter with him?
God knows.
Yeah. What do you think he's done with his money?
I haven't heard.
No?
And I haven't found none neither. Left it to his company like as not. I only know he hasn't left it to me, that's all I know.
Really, Mrs. Dilbert?
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral.
Cheap what?
Well, I can't think of anyone who'd go to it. So you and your master will not get far out of it. No, I can't think of anyone who'd go to see him dagging.
Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
Oh, I don't mind going as long as a lunch is provided. I ain't going lest I'm fed. When I come to think of it, I'm not sure I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met.
Was that often then, Mrs. Dilber?
At least, half a dozen times. Or more. For I've been cleaning the rooms in that house these past 6 years. Oh, it's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fog. It holds a cold in me, Master says.
He could be right. Yes, he could be right. Come along, Terry.
Whom did they speak, Phantom? They could scarcely be talking about the death of old Jacob, for that was past, and your province is the future. They could have no immediate connections with myself, for I know them not. I will remember the words, for nothing doubting that, to whomsoever they apply, they have some latent moral for my own improvement.
The Phantom took them into an obscure part of the town where Scrooge had never penetrated before, although he recognized its situation and its bad repute. The ways were foul and narrow, the shops and houses wretched, the people half naked, drunken, slipshod and ugly, alleys and archways like so many cesspools disgorged their offences of smell and dirt and life upon the straggling streets, and the whole quarter reeked with crime, with filth and misery. Far in this den of infamous resort, there was a low-browed pawn shop.
Mrs. Dilber, what brings you out on such a night?
Looking after my old age, what else?
Old Scratch is dead, I hear.
Dead just a grave. They will not be in it till the Christmas is fully past.
Mrs. Dilber!
Mrs. Colby?
It's always satisfying to see two old friends come together with such enthusiasm and warmth.
Would I be right in thinking you have been gathering up mementos of our mutual friend?
I've been doing the same as you have, by the looks of it, Mrs. Dilber. Oh no, the Undertaker's boy.
I hope I didn't startle you, Mrs. Colby.
Which of you people do I do business with first? If business is what brings you to my old, beetling shoulder.
Let Mrs. Colby go first, young Sim second, and me be third.
Yeah, I was last to enter. I'll be last to leave.
Let the charwoman alone be the first, the boy second, and I'll wait till the end, as I've no hurry in myself tonight.
Well, I've never met such a forward group of three in my life.
Yeah, none of us be strangers to one another, so what we got to hide?
I think you've been following me, young Sim.
I always follow them that knows better than me, Mrs. Colby. Them that can teach me to earn a crust.
Why, you young rogue?
Well, we'll be well matched then.
Oh, we be a sharp lad, Mrs. Colby.
Ah, but them that's too sharp often cut themselves. So you take care, lad.
What odds then? What odds, Mrs. Colby? Everyone has a right to take care of themselves. He always did.
That's true indeed. No man more so.
True words, Mrs. Dilber, true words.
Why, don't stand there, stand there. It's a great, Mrs. Colby. We're not going to pick holes in each other's caps, I suppose.
No, indeed.
We should hope not. For who's the worse along with a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, indeed, Mrs. Colby.
If he wanted to keep them after he was dead, the wicked old screw should have taken them with him.
Oh, dear. Why wasn't he, natural? in his lifetime.
True. If he hadn't been, then he might have had someone to look after him when he was struck with death. Instead of lying, gasping out his last, alone, by himself.
It's the truest words that were ever spoke.
My sentiment, it's a judgment on him.
I wish it had been heavier judgment. And it should have been, you can depend upon it. If I could have laid my hands on anything else. Open the bandage. Let me know the value of it. Speak out plain, for I'm not afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. We knew pretty well we were helping ourselves before we met here, I believe. It's no sin. Open the bundle, Joe.
No, let me be first. Cast your eyes over my collection, Joe.
I'll not be laughed as I'm with friends.
What have we here then, young master? A small hold, but it looks interesting.
I managed to go over his desk, see? I've got a seal or two. This pencil case. A set of sleeve buttons. And this here old brooch.
Here, let me see.
It's of no value. I already passed it over.
These are some of his clothes, and he's still got wearing them.
Ooh, that coat is a good one, Mrs. Silver. I'm surprised you missed that.
After all I could carry, 6 journeys I made. I thought it would be in bad taste to make a 7th.
Here, there's your account. And I wouldn't give you another penny, even if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Right, who's next?
Oh, price things, Sancho, and no short changing. It's Christmas time, a time of goodwill to all men.
What you got then?
Oh, sheets and towels.
And a little wearing apparel, I see.
Yes, his best, bless him. Oh, and 2 very old-fashioned silver teaspoons.
The old man's sugar tongue.
Yes, and his boots.
His boots?
Yes, well, nothing else, nothing I ain't found a use for.
Mrs. Silver, you is a lesson to all of us. But look. I got his bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took them down, rings and all, with him just lying there?
Yes, I do. Why not?
Well, you were bound to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
I certainly shan't hold my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching it out. Not for the sake of a man such as he was, I promise you, Joe. What are the, blankets?
His blankets?
Well, who else is, do you think? He's not likely to take cold without him, I dare say.
I hope, he didn't die of anything catching, eh?
Don't be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things if he did. And you can look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find her. No thread necklace. The very best he had.
I can vouch for that.
Fine linen. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't have been for me.
What do you call wasting of it?
Putting it on it to be buried in. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it ain't good enough for anything. It's quite as becoming to the body, and he can't look any uglier than he did in that one.
Here, ladies, there's your accounts, and I wouldn't give you another shilling, even if it is Christmas.
Done? It's a fair price.
I'll not squabble, as it's Christmas and I'm amongst friends.
Yeah, I must have my admiration for you 2 ladies, in the way you collect your better profit.
In a few years' time, you'll be as good a collector as any in London, if you follow our ways.
Well, old Scratcher certainly made our Christmas full of cheer, even if he never intended it.
This is the end to it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead. Horrible! Get in a bath, horrible!
My life ends that way now. Oh, merciful heaven! What people, what vultures to take their pickings from the dead! Asking a question, Spirit. Are these shadows of the things that will be? Or are they shadows of the things that may be only? This causes foreshadow certain ends, to which if persevered in these ends will change. To say it is thus to what you show me. Oh, pray reassure me, Spirit. Who was this poor unfortunate wretch these three scavengers robbed? No! No, Spirit! Oh, say I am not he! Oh, say I am not that man! Oh, say I will not be stripped of my last vestige of dignity in death! Oh, no, Spirit! I am not the man I was! I am not the man I must have been but for this intercourse! Oh, why show me these things if I pass no hope? Why? Oh, tell me why! Oh, good Spirit, pity me! Show me that yet may change these terrible shadows you have shown me my altered life! I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it throughout the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirit of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Spirit, I will not shut out the lessons that have been taught to me. I will not. Oh, answer me, Spirit! Help my torment! Help me! Help me, Spirit! Help me! Help!
The present and the future. It is my room. Everything is here. Nothing is gone. The spirit of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob, heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, Jacob, on my knees. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. I know they will. I don't know what to do. I am as light as a feather. I am as happy as an angel. I am as merry as a schoolboy. I am as giddy as a drunken man. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year to all the world. Hello there. I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know how long I've been amongst the spirits. Like a baby. Never mind. I don't care. I'd rather be a baby.
He opened it and put out his head. No fog, no mist. Clear, bright, jovial, stirring cold. Cold piping for the blood to dance through. Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet, fresh air, merry bells. So glorious, glorious.
What's today?
Cried Scrooge, calling downward to a boy in Sunday clothes, who perhaps had loitered to look at him. Eh? Returned the boy with all his might of wonder.
What's today, my fine fellow?
Today, replied the boy. Why, Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done all their work in one night. Oh, they can do anything they like, of course they can. Hello there, my fine fellow!
Hello, returned the boy.
Do you know the poulterers on the next street but one, at the corner?
I should hope I did, replied the lad.
An intelligent boy, a remarkable boy. Do you know if they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? Not the little one, but the big one.
What, the one as big as me, returned the boy.
What a delightful boy. It is a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now, replied the boy.
It is. Well, go and buy it.
Walker, exclaimed the boy.
Oh, no, I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here, that I may give direction where they are to take it. Come back with the man. I will give you a shilling. Come back with him. In less than 5 minutes, I will give you half a crown.
The boy was off like a shot. He must have had a steady hand and a trigger who could have got a shot off half so far.
I shall send it to Bob Cratchit's house. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim.
Joe Miller never made such a joke as sending it to Bob's will be.
The hand in which he wrote the address was not a steady one, but write it he did, somehow, and went downstairs to open the street door, ready for the coming of the poulterer's man. It was a turkey, a bird so big that it was impossible to carry to Camden Town, so with a chuckle he dispatched it by cab, and with a chuckle he recompensed the boy. Scrooge almost chuckled till he cried. He looked so irresistibly pleasant that 3 or 4 good-humored fellows said, "Good morning, sir, a Merry Christmas to you." And Scrooge said often afterwards that of all the blithe sounds he had ever heard, those were the blithest in his ears. He had not gone far, when coming towards him he beheld the portly gentleman who had walked into his counting house the day before.
My dear sir, how do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was awfully kind of you. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name, but I fear it is not pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon. Allow me to ask you to have the goodness of...
My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
Not a farthing less, if you please. There are a great many back payments included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, then say nothing, please. Come and see. You will come and see.
Oh, I will, sir. I will indeed.
Thank you. I am much obliged to you, sir. Thank you 50 times. Bless you, sir. Merry Christmas, sir.
Scrooge went to church and walked about the streets and watched the people hurrying to and fro, and patted children on the head and questioned beggars, and looked down into the kitchens of houses and up to the windows, and found that everything could yield him pleasure. He had never dreamed that any walk, that anything could give him so much happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock, but he made a dash and did it. "Is your master at home, my dear?" said Scrooge to the girl who answered the door. "He's in the dining room, sir. I'll show you up, if you please." But Scrooge already had his hand on the door handle. "Fred," said Scrooge, "I have come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred?" Let him in. It is a mercy he did not shake his arm off. He was at home in 5 minutes. Home at last. Wonderful happiness. But he was early at the office the next morning.
It's him. Late, as I hoped he would be. I had me heart set on it, and he's not let me down. Late.
Hello, Bob Cratchit. What do you mean by coming in at this hour of the day? You are a full 18 minutes and a half past your time.
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind in time.
You are. Yes, I think you are. Now step over here, if you please.
It's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. If shall that happen again? I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
Now, I'll tell you what, my friend. I'm not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore...
Therefore, I'm going to raise your salary.
What? Don't say you've gone mad.
Merry Christmas. A merrier Christmas, Bob, my fine fellow, than I have given you in many a year. I will raise your salary and endeavour to assist your struggling family, and we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop pop. We'll make up the fires and buy another coal scuttle before you drop another eye, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good city knew. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. For he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good, at which someone did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, every one.